Hi and welcome to my tutorial on how to create a basic high gain metal preset on the Fractal Audio XFX standard. I've had quite a few questions about how I create my tones, so I thought I'd just give a short tutorial on how I basically build my tones. So we're going to start off with a totally empty preset. I've chosen number 358 because there's nothing on that preset yet. And we're going to go into the layout. Now we're going to take our value dial and turn it so we get a shunt. Just press enter, and then we're just going to hold enter. This will create a connection from the input to the output, and by now you should be hearing a clean sound through your XFX. Alright, so we're going to go back. Doesn't matter which block you choose here, really. I just like to leave room for some stuff in front of the amp. And we're going to turn our value dial until we get amp 1 and press enter. And then we're going to go a couple of blocks away and then get our cabinet 1. And we're actually going to set our cabinet first because it gives you a better perspective on how the amps are going to sound when you're scrolling through the amps. So for metal tones I always use 4x12 cabs. They just sound much better. And we're going to use our Recto 1, which is a rectifier cabinet model. We're also going to choose the SM57 dynamic, which is a dynamic microphone, which is basically used for all guitar miking purposes. And on the XFX it gives it a kind of a special top end sizzle that doesn't really sound good by itself, but in the mix I think it blends in a lot better. We're not going to touch any of the other dials yet. And now we're going to find our amp block, press edit, find first page, go to type, and then we're going to choose our amp, which in this case is going to be the Solo 100. Which is the Soldano SLO 100 watt high gain amp, which the PV5150 was based off, I think. Then we're just gonna tweak our basic settings, make sure you cut some bass, boost some mids, maybe add some presence, keep the depth at 0. The depth should be at 0 for most amps because it just adds a lot of unnecessary bass. Dampening and sag should be set to taste. I like to keep the dampening all the way straight up, and sag, just a little bit of sag, too much is going to make it muddy. Keep the master volume not too high, because pushing the master too high will create a lot of muddiness in your sound. And let's just hear what it sounds like now. So it sounds okay, sounds a little bit weak maybe. You can hear that we can boost the level up. The level doesn't change the tone, just changes the volume of the tone. Just put the level at where you want it. Then we're going to go to the advanced page. And on this page there's not really a lot of stuff that you actually need to know what is. You don't have to touch most of this ever unless you want to get really in depth with the tweaking. What I usually just adjust is the low cut and high cut frequencies. Some of the amps on the XFX, mostly the Das Metall and a couple of others, need a lot of low cut because they have extremely much bass. This amp is rather bassless, so we don't really need to cut a lot of low frequency content from this. The high cut should be around 7000. You can hear that if we increase the high cut all the way up to 20,000 Hertz, it gets really fizzy and sounds digital. So we're going to take that down to about 7000. And that should be it for the amp adjustment so far. Now we're going to boost our amp. In front of the amp we add our drive block. And now we're going to choose on type, we're going to choose tube drive, which is some sort of a tube screamer model. Now let's hear what the difference is. So now we can hear that there's a lot more gain, tone is a lot more saturated, and this means that we can probably cut some of the gain from the amp. Let's see what that sounds like. Sounds like a nice amount of gain. Let's go back to the drive. And here's the thing that most people forget about when adjusting their drive pedals. Because a lot of people recommend that you keep the drive at 0 and the level at 10. Now doing this creates kind of a non-saturated, unforgiving tone that doesn't really blend into the mix, as well as using some drive. You can hear what this sounds like. Now if we just cut some of the level and add some drive, it's going to increase the saturation of the tone and make it slightly more forgiving, and it's going to blend into the mix better. So that's about it. If you feel the need to tweak anything more advanced, then just go ahead and do that. But this is at least a usable way to get a good metal tone quickly. So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you later.